You're listening to K98 FM's K98 Talk.
Alright folks, good morning and happy Monday. I am Double R, and of course you are listening to America Off the Rails. Actually, I guess I should say good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you may be, because at this point we are being picked up and streamed live coast to coast and worldwide. So, I do hope everyone is having a great Monday. For me, as some of you know, it is my Friday, so I'm looking forward to actually getting my regular job weekend started so I can focus more on the radio stuff full time. Now, we do have a lot going on in the news. Most of it's not good. As you could tell from the title of this show, water is wet, the sky is blue, and I couldn't put all this in here, but it actually was supposed to say, the water is wet, the sky is blue, and if we don't wake up soon, we're all screwed. And no, I'm not the last Boy Scout, so I'm not claiming to be this guy right here.
Water's wet, the sky is blue, women have secrets.
But I'm just saying, at this point, it seems that if you remember what it was like to be in America in the 80s, or even for the most part the 90s, we've moved quite a ways away from all of that stuff. It just seems like we've gone completely insane. We're willing to give up little bits and pieces of our freedom, one little piece at a time, just because the government says that they're gonna take care of us. And I mean, to me, that's just crazy. I mean, when did we become a nation of people who want others to be able to take care of us? We were always the ones running around trying to take care of everybody else. Now, granted, we didn't always do a great job of that either. But I mean, still, when did the mindset of the average American change, and what caused it to change? I mean, you see news stories all the time now of the different things that are going on, and everybody just seems like they're oblivious to it. I mean, that's like the whole, again, the Affordable Care Act situation. Over and over and over again, that thing is proving to be more and more and more of a train wreck. Obama's been caught in so many lies now, I can't even keep up with them. And yet, the average American doesn't seem to care. We have become a nation of sheeple. Seriously. I mean, we've basically started becoming a group that follows whichever voice screams the loudest and says, "Come with me, I'm going to protect you." I mean, I hate to say this, folks, but if our founding fathers were alive, they would have a cow over the things that have been happening in this nation for the last 100 years. I mean, look at it from a logical perspective. Things like the FCC, that was supposed to be a temporary organization. It was around for a particular reason. Things like the progressive income tax was supposed to be temporary. Yet we still now, over 100 years later, are paying even more income taxes than we did when it started. Things like toll roads. How many of you have toll roads in your state? I know we have quite a few here. You know, the funny thing is they sold us this whole bill of goods when they started that of, you pay money every time you use it, and after so long, that money that you're using, or that money that you're giving, is going to be what pays for the road, and eventually it will become a free road. Has that worked anywhere yet? Can somebody, hit me up on Twitter, at double underscore R underscore OKC. Hit me up on Twitter. Let me know if there's one place anywhere in the 50 states where a toll road was started and eventually the toll had stopped being collected. Because here's the thing that nobody wants to understand, folks. Once your government gets their mitts into something, they don't ever let it go. They are interested in doing nothing more than making sure that they can continue to grow their power base. That's what all of this is about. It's not about you, it's not about me, it's about power. It's about power. They either already have it and they want more of it, or they don't have it yet and they want to find a way to get it. And you guys keep voting for the same stuff over and over and over and over and over and over and keep expecting things to change. Last I checked, that's a pretty good definition of insanity as coined by Mr. Albert Einstein, which basically states a good definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again and yet expecting different results. And this is not just going out to all my liberal haters out there. You conservative folks are falling into the same traps. each side claims they hate authoritarianism, yet when each side is in power, they do whatever they can to increase their authoritarian reach. The only difference is which way the money goes. There's this thing, if you pay attention, there's a money train. And honestly, both sides are fighting. They both really seem to want the same thing, though. But they're fighting, and they're fighting so that you feel like they're fighting for you. And then when they get in there, all they really do is they say, well, now that we're in power, the money that was going over here, yeah, we're going to give it to this guy over here because he gave us all kinds of money when we got elected. But guess what? Nothing that the guy that did before I got here that I told you I was going to change. Yeah, no, sorry. You fell for that. Now I'm in here, and I'm only after the money. I mean, it happens over and over and over again, and we keep falling for it over and over and over again. Alright, but anyway, I'm getting a little tired of talking politics so much. I'm not going to lie. I mean, we'll come back to it, but I have some other things that I thought was kind of interesting. Like, apparently, the first YouTube Awards happened. I think it was yesterday, wasn't it? Apparently, according to the LA Times, there was well, actually, let me just read you the title. YouTube Music Awards, Unscripted, Babies Cry, and so does Lady Gaga. The inaugural YouTube Music Awards kicked off Sunday night with a live music video of the song Afterlife by Arcade Fire, directed by Spike Jonze and starring Greta Gerwig. Gerwig danced with the same awkward Tourette style that was so endearing in Frances Ha. She grooved through a fake kitchen. Sorry, I'm being messaged. Did 1 moment, please. Anyway, sorry about that. Thought maybe I wasn't transmitting, because normally if I start getting messages during a show, it's because somebody can't hear me. Sorry about that. Gerwig danced with the same awkward Tourette style that was so endearing in Frances Ha. She grooved through a fake kitchen and into some fake snowy woods. She danced right up to Arcade Fire, which was performing on stage at Pier 36 in New York City, where the show was being shot. A bunch of kids joined her. A little more than 155,000 viewers watched the stream. The future looked promising for the brand new award show, and then everything went downhill. In the days leading to the show, much had been made of webcast director Jonze's promise that the show would be unscripted and very much off the cuff. This could be good or bad. You tell me. I don't script much here either, and some days it's really great, some days not so much. I'll let you guys be the judges to how this one winds up. Speculated, good or bad, speculated that many interested parties. Scripts, it turns out, were invented for a reason. YouTube thrives on unscripted moments. Toddlers bursting into hysterical giggles, cats flushing the toilet, moms being caught unaware singing badly on the beach. But on the creative musical side of things, quite a bit of care and planning goes into most YouTube videos that go viral. That's to say, they're scripted for the most part. From Auto-Tune the News, to Tay Zonda's song Chocolate Rain, to Andy Samberg and T-Pain's SNL I'm on a Boat video, and more. The stuff we love to watch on YouTube was made with a ton of premeditation. That's not to say that lots of thought wasn't put into the YouTube Music Awards, just that the choice of the internet, if unchanneled, is just that. Whoever wrote this, I swear, it's either them or me today, I'm not sure. Anyway, I'm going to skip down a little bit more, because this is not getting to things as quickly as I thought it was going to. Here we go. This is what I was looking for. So, apparently, Lady Gaga did perform. She performed barefoot, dressed in a black ball cap, and a checked shirt buttoned to the top. She was crying, too. Tears streamed silently down her face as she wailed, apparently out of tune, streamed silently out of the show. During the 3 minutes or so that Gaga was on the screen, more than 4,000 viewers exited and continued to do so as microphones cut in and out. Cakes were smashed to uncover awards, and Tyler, the Creator, and Earl Sweatshirt were bleeped out for most of their unintelligible performance. By the time the webcast was almost an hour in viewership, or almost an hour in, Good Lord, people. Punctuation. Viewership had dropped from its peak of about 215,000 to a median of about 180,000. This for an event that 60 million people apparently voted for. YouTube may break viral videos, but unless it tries harder next time, it may not be able to break itself. Okay. Alright, I'm going to have to take a little bit of a break here. Bear with me for just a moment. I'm going to go ahead and roll a commercial a little bit early.
We were made to be courageous. We were made to lead the way. We could be the generation that finally breaks the chains. We were
Giving the Obama administration the big ones up. Right from the middle finger. Common Ground Radio with Double R.
Hey folks, I don't know about you, but I always feel like there just isn't enough time in the day. You know, one of those not enough hours in the day kind of things. Hey. But, you know, working full-time, raising a family, trying to start a company. I'm sure some of you can relate. So, what can we do about it, I guess is my question. Short of hijacking Doc Brown and having him show you the secrets to the DeLorean.
No, that's Tuesday and Friday. That's what I said when I sent him that message. I thought he was Beth trying to talk me into taking part of her shift tomorrow. Because she keeps popping up with random times. Like, what if you come in at this time?
I found the information through my independent Beachbody life coach, Michelle.
And that's who I thought that was when he sent me that message. That's why I sent him back.
www.beachbody.com
I thought it was her talking about tomorrow.
/SherryBrit1. Basically, I have to tell you, folks, I haven't been doing it for very long, but it's working. It's one of those total commitment kind of things. I'm using a program called Shakeology. Basically, it's a meal replacement.
No, I'll be done by 11:30. I'll call you as soon as it's over.
And also, I have one of Sean T's workout videos.
Okay.
We're doing T25 right now. Started that a couple of days ago. Have to admit, I'm old, I'm fat, and it's painful, but I feel better. And it's one of those things where I'm doing it at my own pace. There's also
folks, just realized
nutrition plans involved in a lot of these packages.
Live radio.
For the whole
I think
thing.
I'm going to go back to bed after this show's over.
It's what they like to call a challenge pack. I call it a bundle offer. Basically, it gets you the Shakeology video of your choice and a diet and exercise plan all rolled into one. Basically, it's just one of those things where, what have you got to lose? You might as well try it. We all complain that there's not enough time in the day. What if there just isn't enough energy for us in the day anymore? You remember when we were kids? A day felt like a week. Because we were always doing something. Just my thoughts on it, folks. Give it a shot. Like I said, you can find the information at the link I just gave you a minute ago. What have you got to lose?
If you don't believe in God we trust, then strap your bomb to yourself and ride your camel out of here. You're listening to America Off the Rails with Double R, right here on Common Ground Radio.
You ever have one of those mornings, folks? I seem to be having one right now.
Water's wet, the sky's blue, women have secrets.
And we're back, folks. Yeah, for those of you listening live, sorry about that moment of train wreck. For those of you who are going to catch it in podcast, you won't even know what I'm talking about because that part of that's going to go away. So, yeah, the joys of nobody ever seeming to know when I have what scheduled, no matter how many times I tell them. Anyway, so where was I? Oh yeah, we were talking about the fact that Lady Gaga is apparently a raving lunatic. And the fact that YouTube's idea of going completely unscripted kind of blew up in their face, which is kind of how I'm feeling today, to be honest. It's been a rather busy week with the day job. For those of you who don't know, I work at an airline, so we have been dealing with the aftermath of the, I'm just going to say it, the dumbass from the LAX incident. So I've been working my tail off there and trying to keep up with everything here and trying to do research. So if this show seems a little more disorganized than usual, that would be why.
apologies. Anyway, so more of what's going on. The LAX thing. Not just that. Apparently there was a minor incident in the Birmingham airport last night as well, from what I've heard from a couple of small news sources. Somebody apparently snuck a threatening note in somewhere behind the security line. Okay, so has everybody in the world just lost their damn minds? I mean, come on. Why is it that it's... I mean, I don't understand anymore. You know, what is wrong? Why does it seem like there's this small percentage of people that just want to do everything they can to hurt as many people as they can, and then usually manage to get themselves taken out in the process? Do the world a favor. If you're so messed up that you think you need to go shoot a bunch of people, start with yourself. Just gonna say that now. If you feel like you need to go find a gun and go on a rampage somewhere, then do the world a favor and point the gun at yourself first, because you're a loser. Just saying it like it is. You are a coward and a loser. Everybody's life sucks when they really stop and think about it. Almost nobody is where they thought they were gonna be. I mean, for God's sake, I just turned 40 years old. I'm nowhere near where I thought I was gonna be when I was 18, compared to where I actually am now. Am I gonna give up, go throw a fit, and go see if I can become famous by shooting up a room full of people? No, because I'm not a nut job. So do me a favor. If you're going to be one of those folks who suddenly thinks, hey, I can get 15 minutes of fame by go shooting up a room full of people, do the world a favor. Shoot yourself first and be done with it. I'm tired of this crap. I have the REM song, It's the End of the World as We Know It, on a continual loop in my head anymore. And I'm sorry, folks, it may be the end of the world, but I don't feel fine about it anymore. I haven't for quite some time. This whole world has gone crazy. I mean, and our government isn't any better. The whole damn system has gone crazy. I mean, that's like right now. Apparently, you know, the whole healthcare.gov website, it's going to be down for maintenance every day, overnight, until further notice. Seriously? We've... These are the people we've put in charge of our lives. They can't even run a website, but they're supposed to be able to administer your healthcare. Because I got to tell you, folks, that's what they want to do. That's why this is running as crappily as it is. They want this to fail. They want it to explode. They want it to blow up, because then they can run in, scoop up the pieces, and go, ooh, look, government to the rescue. Let's try single payer, because this didn't work. I mean, you really think, honestly, that a government that can put man on the moon, that can spy on millions of people, that can basically do whatever it wants to do when it wants to do it with a push of a button, can't get a website right? Are we really supposed to be this stupid? Because I got news for you, folks. My 5-year-old, well, I don't have a 5-year-old anymore, but if he was still 5, he could build a better website. He's 12 now, and I'm pretty sure he could build a better website now. I mean, come on. There's notes, there's stories out all over the place. This one's from the Foundry. Healthcare.gov users warn of security risk and breach of privacy. Justin Hadley logged into healthcare.gov to evaluate his insurance options after his health plan was canceled. What he discovered was an apparent security flaw that disclosed eligibility letters addressed to individuals from another state. I was in complete shock, said Hadley, who contacted Heritage after becoming alarmed at the breach of privacy. Hadley, a North Carolina father, buys his insurance on the individual market. His insurance company, Blue Cross Blue Shield of North Carolina, directed him to healthcare.gov in a cancellation letter he received in September. After multiple attempts to access the problem-plagued website, Hadley finally made it past the registration page Thursday. That's when he was greeted with the downloadable letters about eligibility for 2 people in South Carolina. And this article actually includes screenshots. So again, folks, I ask you, are we really supposed to believe truly that that our government is this stupid? Now, granted, think of how I asked you that question, because I didn't ask you if we're supposed to believe the president is this stupid. I asked you if we're supposed to believe that our government as a whole is really this stupid. Just a question. So tell me what you think, because I gotta know. I gotta tell you, I really don't think our government is this stupid. I think that they think that eventually at some point we're going to get so tired of all this mess, we're going to beg them to come in, clean up the mess, and then we're going to be on single payer for the rest of our lives, and there's not going to be a damn thing we're going to be able to do about it. And I know some of you in the 18 to 32 bracket are going, yay, single payer, it's going to fix everything. Okay. See, I have problems with this for several reasons. With the ineptitude, apparently, of our government, because they can't even run a simple website, what do you think is going to happen when they're in charge of the entire healthcare system? They can't run a website. And you people are telling me that you think it's a good idea that they run the entire healthcare system. Now, don't take my capitalism card away, but I have to tell you, one of the things that I honestly think should be happening is we should find a way to do healthcare as a not-for-profit. Now, I'm not saying socialized government run, I'm saying a not-for-profit private industry. Because here's the problem. As soon as everybody started figuring out ways to make money off of sick people, they stopped worrying about healing sick people, and they started worrying about fixing the problems of sick people. I mean, think about it for a second. If you can charge somebody $8,000 for medicine that does nothing but cure the symptoms of a particular problem, or you could spend millions of dollars developing something that with a one-time or two-time shot is going to cure the problem and charge them, say, $20,000. But wait, let's do the math here just for a second. Let's say it's a 6-month thing where you have to take say 2 injections in 6 months, each within 6 months of each other. So within a year, you've made $40,000 because you're charging them $20,000 a shot, or you can charge them $7,000 for a monthly prescription that they have to take for the rest of their lives. So you can make $40,000. Now granted, not all of that's profit, but we're just looking at the overall numbers. So you can, before everything, you can pull in $40,000 per patient for a year and never get any money from them again for that particular ailment because you've cured it. And let's say there's 50 people. So 50 people times $40,000. How much money is that, folks? Because I can tell you how much money it is. It's not that hard. Well, I say it's not that hard. Sadly, my math brain's not working very well today. So let's say 40,000 times, let's say 50,000 people. That's a decent small number for an ailment. So let's go on. That's $2 billion within a year. But if you're charging them $7,000 a month, and who cares what you're charging them? They have insurance. Their insurance is basically going to cover as much of it as they can, and then they're going to dispute it with the doctors to go back in and say, no, we'll only pay this much. And then the doctor, that's how insurance works. They argue, they cajole, they find ways to get as much money as they can, and then they go from there. So that's $2 billion that you've made off of 50,000 people, let's say in the space of a year. Or even 2 years. So let's say it's $10 billion a year. But those 50,000 people don't need your medicine anymore because you've cured them. Now, let's look at this another way. That's $7,000 a month. Hang on a second. So that's $7,000 a month times 50,000 people That's $350 million a month. Now, let's say that the average life expectancy of these folks is, say, 30 years with treatment of symptoms. So that's $350,000 a month times 12 months brings it to $420 million, I think. Oh no, $4,200,000,000. That's in a year. Now multiply that by 30, and I'm sorry, but I'm not counting all those zeros this morning. But you can see where I'm going. There has become a trend where, I mean, and don't get me wrong, because I am a capitalist. I am a through and through capitalist. But there comes a time when capitalism becomes exploitation. And there became a mindset somewhere along the way of why cure it when you can treat the symptoms. So I think there are certain things that capitalism needs to stay away from, but I still think there needs to be a free market wrapped around those particular things. You can do it as a not-for-profit and leave it in the marketplace and fix a lot of the problems that we have going on, because if it becomes a zero-sum game, then at least you're not going to have as many people going out of their way just to make sure that all they ever do is turn a profit, and to hell with the people that they could actually be saving, because they're only going to treat them for their symptoms. And yes, maybe I'm being naive, as you guys that have been listening for forever know. This is now a profession of mine, but it started as a hobby, and I'm just one of those guys who sits down, does research, and comes to my own conclusions. So if you decide you don't like my conclusions, that's entirely up to you. But I'm just saying, this whole thing is a mess. And at some point, the government's going to swoop in, going to try to clean up the mess, and then it's only going to get worse, because these same people who can't run a website are suddenly now going to be in charge of healthcare. And yes, I'm being facetious, because Lord knows we know they can run a website. That's why I'm really surprised this one's going as badly as it is. Or really not, because I'm pretty sure it's probably got a lot to do with the fact that Obama really wanted a single-payer system. No, don't worry, I know I played it last week, so I'm not going to play you the clip again. Just saying. So, in other news about our nice new government-run healthcare system administered by a website that doesn't work, apparently the Obamacare site is going to go offline for extended maintenance, and this, of course, is through Fox News. The problem-plagued Obamacare website was shut down Saturday night for extended repairs, according to the Department of Health and Human Services. Technicians have shut down healthcare.gov during weekends since the site launched October 1st, but just for a few overnight hours. The site was offline this weekend from 9 p.m. Saturday until 9 a.m. Sunday, so apparently it's back on now. The healthcare.gov tech team is performing extended maintenance this weekend to improve network infrastructure and make enhancements to the online application and enrollment tools. Agency spokeswoman Joanne Peters said Saturday. The Obama administration says America's, really? Does nobody proofread anything anymore? Sorry, I guess I'm just really cranky today because these typos. And don't get me wrong, because those of you who know me, I'm the king of typos. But I do my best, unless it's in some sort of a quick private chat thing, to try to make sure that I've corrected them before I put them out for the world to see them, especially on a news website. But yeah, apparently it's supposed to say Americans, and it says Americas. Further proof that we're all going to hell. We don't even spell check anymore. Healthcare.gov team is performing extended maintenance this weekend to improve network infrastructure and make enhancements to the online application enrollment tools. Agency spokeswoman Joanne Peters said Saturday. The Obama administration says Americans can still apply for insurance coverage by calling a toll-free number available around the clock. Glad I don't work in that call center. In recent weeks, the administration has brought in outside experts to assist in getting the site running. Officials say their goal is to eliminate such problems as volume-related crashes, volume-related crashes. Volume-related crashes. There were 6 people who signed up the first day. That's not volume. How much more of this crap are you going to spew? This has nothing to do with volume. You guys want this site to run like crap. You want it to be a piece of crap. Sorry, I'm trying to filter more. This is going to be one of those things that just gets me going in a minute. So bear in mind, this could get more cranky. They have set a goal for getting the site running smoothly by month's end and releasing enrollment numbers by mid-November. How much you want to bet those don't ever fully get released? I'm just saying. I mean, come on. You know, it's finally starting to leak out now that there were a whole 6 people that were able to sign up through the Central Exchange on the first day. And the whole time they're like, oh, we can't tell you how many people are signing up because the traffic's been so extensive that we can't keep up. You couldn't track 6 people. I mean, seriously, you couldn't track 6 people. You had to know eventually the truth was going to come out. I mean, come on. You know, this whole administration has been built on paper. I feel like it's a giant house of cards that's finally starting to come down. I mean, look at things from a logical perspective for a second. He tells you that healthcare is going to save you $25,000 or well, I guess it would be pretty close to that. $2,500 a month for the average American family. It actually seems like at this point it's actually costing closer to that amount, not saving them. There's also the fact that the idiot took credit for bailing out General Motors, saying that it was a total success. Well, they just reported a $9.7 billion loss the other day. Wonder why it is they waited until almost a year after he touted it as a complete success to finally tell people that there was a loss. Could it have anything to do with the fact that now this loss gets reported on this year's numbers instead of last year's numbers? I don't know, you tell me. Not only that, but his election's over, so now they can tell you the truth because you're already stuck with him for the next 3.5 years. I'm telling you, folks, I have a store that we set up for the K98 stuff. I think I'm going to set one up for my page and my show. And I think I'm going to put my logo on the front, and then I'm going to put I Told You So on the back. And I think I'm going to order 7 of them myself just so I can wear them nonstop for the next few years. Every day somebody's going to see me with an America Off the Rails logo on the front and an I Told You So slogan on the back. Because, I mean, I've been telling people this for years. The man is a liar. I mean, come on. You know when he's lying, his lips are moving. And you can't, you could blame the script writers because the dude can't do a speech without a teleprompter. So, you could always say, well, it's not his fault. The teleprompter's making him lie. But that's not true. The dude is a liar. He lies about everything. I don't think he's been honest about anything for the entire time he's been in office. Benghazi was supposed to be about a video. Really, there's been plenty of things that have come out after the fact that have basically proven that we knew something bad was going to happen there. There's even been a guy who's been called out after speaking about the incident who was part of one of the British secret agencies who basically was in the region, who's been now outed by American-based reporters. I'll have more on that on next week's show. I was looking for the article today and I couldn't find it. But I don't know, folks. How much more of this are we going to put up with? How much more of this are we going to take? They try to tell you that they're trying to fix the website because they want to make sure that it runs smoothly and that everything's good and golden and blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. Well, I got news for you, folks. It ain't never going to be good. They don't want it that way. They want you dependent on them, and as long as they can make this as painful as possible, eventually you're going to throw your hands up in the air and say, oh, please, Mr. Obama, save me. Put me on socialized medicine so I have one less thing to worry about, please. Please, sir, may I have another? really is that simple. Now, I don't know about you guys, and I'm going to change gears for a second because I've talked a lot about the ACA over the last few shows. I'm really getting tired of talking about it. Yes, it's a train wreck. Yes, I hope it gets repealed. No, I honestly don't think it's ever going to happen because the average American just does not give a crap. Unless Duck Dynasty or Honey Boo Boo's on the air, they really don't care. And I'm not going to lie, I actually kind of like the Duck Dynasty guys. My wife watches that show every time it's on. I don't, but I've caught a few. Alright, hang on a sec, folks. Yeah, sorry folks, apparently I'm having a little bit of a technical issue here, I think, so I'm going to go ahead and take a little bit of a break, even though I've been trying to stay away from playing the music today, because apparently talk radio is not the place to play music, but we'll be right back in about 4 minutes while I sort something out.
What you do not realize, what you don't understand, is this is for your own good. If you do not accept these conditions that will be set before you, they shall be forced upon you, for the good of society as a whole, and the well-being and preservation of the free and the gratification. Without rules, there is anarchy. Who under these powers fitted with your conception of freedom is professed inside, you're hardly in a position to dictate.
The satellite is on me now, watching every move I make, recording every word I say. The system says it's working now, self-correcting, there are no questions to be asked, no, none to be raised. Am I out of my head? Are they pushing you down? And am I out of my head? Are they pushing you down? The propaganda machine says don't even try. You can stop your brother now. And what did you say? Would you please explain? Mistakes we've made will linger on and on.
You are now tuned into the Bush Leagues of Talk Radio, right here on the all-new K98 Talk.
Water's wet, the sky's blue, women have secrets.
Alright, folks, and we're back. Yeah, sorry about that. Apparently, today's just going to be one of those days where the gremlins are going to try to see how much of this show they can take with them before they go. Anyway. While I was sorting some things out behind the scenes, I did find an interesting article. One moment, please. This is from Breitbart.com. Apparently, I hope this wasn't a paid-for survey, but there's been a survey that's been recently taken that says fewer men are paying for sex. This is from Los Angeles, Dateline, November 3rd. From the UPI, a poll of men in the United States found fewer of them have paid for or received payment for sex than in decades past. In several surveys conducted from 1991 to 1996, about 17% of respondents said they have either paid for or had received payment for sex at least once in their lives, the Los Angeles Times reported. Similar surveys conducted between 2006 and 2012 found that number dropped to 13.2%. If fewer men are paying for sex, it's because they don't have to, said Christine Milrod, an independent researcher and sex therapist from Los Angeles. They can have sex for free. Other researchers said it is possible men are becoming less likely to admit they have paid for sex. City after city, state after state, there have been changes in the law that increase penalties for paying for sex, said Ronald Weitzer, a George Washington University sociology professor. It might be the growing punitive climate that is affecting these numbers. So I don't know, folks. I mean, I gotta tell you, 40 years old, never once in my life found it necessary to pay for that particular service. Now, I'm not any type of a stud either, so I've never been paid for that particular service either. I don't know, even 13% seems like an awful high number to me. But then again, what do I know? I don't know, I thought that was kind of interesting, and the title caught my eye, so I figured while I was ironing something out, I could read over that, and we could talk about it for a minute. I mean, I don't know, what do you guys think? I know there's some of you out there listening. How many of you guys have paid for sex or been paid for sex? I'm not gonna lie, if I was studly enough, being paid to have sex might have been kind of cool, but not paying for sex. Just saying. So yeah, apparently Mr. Obama is on the campaign trail again. This time it's for the Virginia governor's race, though. This is Dateline, November 4th, 5:28 a.m. Eastern Time. This is it's a site called My Way News. No banners, no pop-ups, no kidding. So far, I gotta say they're not lying. I haven't seen a single pop-up. There's no banner ads. May have to come back and check this one out more often. This is by Philip Elliott and Josh Letterman. Winchester, Virginia AP. Terry McAuliffe and Ken Cuccinelli are both looking to make Tuesday's election for governor into a referendum on President Barack Obama's health overhaul. Underhaul, maybe? I'm just saying. McAuliffe planned to campaign Monday with Vice President Joe Biden. Oh, please do. Please, please, please. Don't even bother with the leash and the muzzle. Just let him off the chain. Come on, it'll help your chances so much, I promise. McAuliffe planned to campaign Monday with Vice President Joe Biden, a day after Obama weighed in, throwing National Democrats full backing into the race. Cuccinelli, meanwhile, would be campaigning with Republican Senator Marco Rubio of Florida. See, I have mixed feelings on Rubio ever since the whole immigration thing. I really do. And planned his final campaign rally with former Rep. Ron Paul of Texas, a hero of the libertarian wing of the GOP. As the acrimonious campaign headed toward its end, the national health care law seems to be the major fault line for both candidates. Seeking an upset, Cuccinelli pledged plagued, pledged to continue his fight against the Democrats' national health care law. As Virginia's Attorney General, he was the first to file a lawsuit trying to declare it unconstitutional. While the Supreme Court rejected his argument, he has not stopped his crusade against it. The Supreme Court rejected his argument. Oh yeah, but they're the highest law in the land. Sorry. Don't get me started on the Supreme Court. They're another bunch of freaking sellouts lately. I mean, come on. He had to tell everybody it wasn't a tax to even try to get it crammed down our throats. And then as soon as it got passed, as soon as it got threatened, no, it's a tax, it's a tax, it's a tax. Mr. Scalia, I hope you burn in hell. Just saying. McAuliffe has embraced the law and has pledged to use it to expand Medicaid in the state to provide health coverage for 400,000 Virginians. The federal government picks up the entire tab for expansion in the first few years, with the state picking up a portion of it in later years. Cuccinelli says that it is going to blow a huge hole in the state's budget and binds future governors. No more Obamacare in Virginia, Cuccinelli said Sunday. That's the message we can send. McAuliffe says the Medicaid expansion keeps Virginia tax dollars closer to home. He says the alternative is for Virginians to pick up the Medicaid coverage for other states. In advertising, direct mail-in phone calls, the health care law is the top issue candidates are pushing. As one of just two gubernatorial races in the nation, the result of Tuesday's vote could hold clues about voter attitude in both parties and messages heading into 2014 midterm elections, when control of Congress will be at stake. Democrats see Virginia as a test case for other competitive states and are eager for a win there to show their approach to governing is resonating with voters. Sorry, but if you guys honestly think that your governing approach is resonating with the people any more than the current Republican governing approach is resonating with people, you're all a bunch of idiots. I mean, come on, as far as I'm concerned, it's time to throw both parties out. I mean, I've never been a fan of a third party, but at this point I'm leaning more and more that way. We need one that's just called the Common Sense Party. It's going to basically just shoot straight, tell you how it is, and quit trying to sugarcoat to you everything and lie to you about everything. I mean, how many more times can people keep voting for the guy who says, vote for me and I'll give you more of this, and vote for me and I'll give you more of that? We're out of money. We're out of money. We don't have any money anymore. We have some guy sitting in the Federal Reserve with his finger on a print button. He hits a button, all of a sudden a bunch of new money shoots out, life's good. You know, maybe I wouldn't be so bitter about that if I had that option. You know, if I could, turn around, look at the wife and say, hey, honey, we got to pay a $400 phone bill. Well, hang on, let me go fire up the laser jet. We'll get that thing paid right now. You know, if we had that option, maybe I wouldn't care so much. We don't have that option, though, so why should they? We have to find ways to live within our means, or we wind up on the streets. So why should the government have the ability to basically go in and print money whenever they want to? I mean, I feel like we're living in a world governed by the rules of monopoly. You know, that nice little rule at the end of the rules that says if a lot of players believe that when the money runs out of when the bank runs out of money, the game is over. However, this is not correct. You can continue to circulate money on regular slips of paper until such time as the monopoly money has made the circulation back into the bank. I mean, who knew Parker Brothers was writing world governing policy when they wrote the rules of monopoly? I mean, seriously. I mean, let that sink in for a second. One of the rules of a popular board game we all played when we were kids is basically the entire basis on how our country is run right now. Anybody else see a problem with that? Just asking. Because I see large ginormous, huge problems with that, because I don't care how many pieces of paper you print, the money ain't worth what it used to be, and it's going to continue to get worse. Well, this one's interesting. It's actually more of a world story, but hang on, let me get it pulled up. Just kind of going down a list I had today. This is from International News France 24/7. New Zealand police probe claims of online rape. Hang on. Once again, punctuation, people. New Zealand police probe claims of online rape club. New Zealand police on Monday said they were investigating a gang of young males who boasted online about stupefying underage girls with alcohol and then having group sex with them. In a case that has raised concerns about how to police online bullying, Prime Minister John Key said the claims made by the Auckland-based group were abhorrent, but were difficult to prosecute without hard evidence. It's just extremely disgusting and disturbing behavior, and these young guys should grow up, Key told reporters. It's very difficult to progress these issues if someone is unwilling to make a complaint, and it's a very challenging position for a young woman to put herself in. The group, calling themselves Roastbusters, and mostly reportedly aged in their late teens, bragged about using social media to meet girls as young as 13, then have sex with them after plying them with drinks. You guys are lucky you live in New Zealand. I gotta tell you, I have daughters. You're lucky you live in New Zealand. That's all I'm gonna say. But again, this goes to my whole point. The entire world has gone crazy. Everybody's out to do whatever they want to do, and as long as they can manage to get away with it, they don't care who they hurt or what happens in the process. When did we stop caring about our fellow man? When did everything become about the bottom line being what you can do and how much money you can make while you're doing it? I mean, because I am as big a fan of capitalism as the next guy. But there are certain times when money needs to take a back seat. There are certain times when things like your self-pleasurement and self-aggrandizement needs to take a back seat. I mean, this is crazy. There's a group of people running around New Zealand basically getting teenage girls drunk, raping them, and then they're posting about it on social media. And it's not like that kind of stuff hasn't happened here. Anybody remember the recent small town football story from a few months ago? Same general kind of situation. So again, what is it that I've been saying this whole show? Water's wet, the sky's blue, and if we don't all wake up, soon we're all screwed. It just boggles my mind, folks. Completely, totally, 100% boggles my mind. That we have become so self-absorbed, so bothered with keeping up with the Joneses, so bothered with making sure that we get what we want, when we want it, how we want it, and as many times as we want it, that we're willing to hurt as many people as we have to in the process to get where we need to go. That is not humanity. I mean, I'm sorry. If that's what humanity's becoming, then stop the world. I want to get off. I'm not even playing. If we're going to become the type of people that will basically do the things that I just talked about in this story, or that are going to be the people who basically charge thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to be able to treat a symptom, rather than trying to find a way to cure the problem. Because, I mean, let's face it, there's probably cures for most of the stuff that we have going on as far as ailments right now. But it's definitely more profitable to make sure that you're only treating the symptoms, wouldn't you think? Pretty much just proved the case for that earlier. Just saying. So when did we, as the human race, completely fall into the express elevator to hell? Because I honestly feel like that's where we're going. We have become a group that seems to not care about anyone but ourselves. We have become a group who's willing to basically step on, climb over, claw through, or chew through anyone who gets in our way to get wherever it is that we want to go. And everyone suffers in our wake. I mean, come on. The Affordable Care Act is case in point of everything that I've been talking about. Sorry. As soon as I said that, a meme popped up on one of the pages that I follow, and it's got Jules from what is the name of that movie? Anyway, Samuel L. Jackson, and I cannot think of the movie right now, but anyway, it's one of the Quentin Tarantino movies where him and John Travolta are playing hitmen, and I cannot think of the movie for the life of me right now, but it's got a picture of him holding the gun in the black suit, and it's talking about Obamacare, and it says, "Call it affordable one more time." So, sorry, didn't mean to start chuckling, but yeah. I mean, come on, the fact that they even are still calling this thing the Affordable Care Act is laughable in and of itself. They've seen report after report after report of people that are going, well, not only does the coverage that I have suck compared to what I have now, it's more expensive than what I had before, and it doesn't give me half of what I used to have. See, there's liberal logic there, because all you single white men with no kids, no wives, no family that are having to pay for prenatal care and things like that now, yeah, that was intentional. It's called spreading out the costs. It's called making sure that more people are paying in for the services than are ever going to need the services, to make sure that whatever this is that they want to call it remains profitable. Doesn't have anything to do with saving you money. It doesn't have anything to do with saving you money. It has to do with making sure that they can spread out the cost of all the crap that they're having to pay for over as many people as they can. So it doesn't matter if you're 20 years old, don't have a wife, never had kids, don't plan on doing any of that. You're going to be saddled with taking care of prenatal care and birth control for the rest of your life, because you're now on Obamacare. Welcome to the new America. Where they make you buy something that wasn't any better than what you had to begin with. It's probably more expensive and worse. So how you guys liking this new America? I gotta tell you, I don't like it very much. I made a joke on the Facebook page attached to this show, which for anyone who's interested is www.facebook.com/America is coming off the rails. Basically on Saturday night I made a joke, or as a public service announcement, that don't forget to roll your clocks back tonight. It's supposed to be an hour. I'm trying to find a way to roll mine back to the Reagan era. I gotta tell you folks, if I could hijack the DeLorean, I think that would probably be where I'd go back to. Things just seemed overall easier then. We knew who the bad guys were. We knew what was right, and we tried to do it as best as we could. Now, granted, that was also where things started making some very drastic turns, but that was still back when up was up and down was down and things made sense. Now we live in a world where everything's shades of gray. Everything's okay as long as you don't. It doesn't matter whether you think it's okay or not. It only matters whether the person who's involved in the activity thinks it's okay or not, whatever that case may be. There is no black and white anymore. It's all shades of gray. I don't like living in a world full of shades of gray. I'm not wired to live in a world full of shades of gray. I spent way too much time wearing a badge and a gun There are way too many things that are black and white issues that have now become just big, hairy shades of gray, and I don't like that. I don't like it one bit. I don't like the fact that basically it doesn't matter anymore what I think, it only matters what the person next to me thinks. I don't know, folks. At this point, I just gotta say, I'm concerned for the future of our country. I'm concerned for the kind of world that we're going to leave our children. Overall, I'm concerned, and I honestly, at this point, don't even really know what to do. I just know that something's got to be done. Anyway, it's about time for us to take another little quick break. We will be right back.
You are now tuned into the Bush Leagues of Talk Radio, right here on the all-new K98 Talk.
Alright, folks, our sponsor for this last half hour is going to be 101 Solutions. Again, if you are interested in getting involved into the whole podcasting or internet radio scene, and you need help with things like graphics, liners, all the stuff that you're hearing, as far as the liners that you're hearing, were actually put together by those folks. They have really good rates, really reasonable, really good folks. You can find their information online. Just go hit them up, see what they'll charge you, go from there. Again, not trying to take anything away from, I know Spreaker is affiliated with a group, but I've known this guy personally for years, does really good work, so wouldn't tell you not to check him out if I didn't think it was worth your time. But anyway, train of thought derail track 1.
I'm not afraid to take a stand, everybody, come take my hand, we'll walk this road together, through the storm, whatever weather, cold or warm, letting you know that you're not alone.
You're listening to America Off the Rails with Double R, right here on the Common Ground Media Network. You are now tuned into the Bush Leagues of Talk Radio, right here on the all-new K98 Talk.
Sorry, folks, been playing that one a lot more than usual today, because I honestly am starting to believe it today. It's just been one of those days. Yeah, sorry, I know this one's been a bit more of a train wreck than usual. Like I said, work schedule's been hectic for the real job, for one. So it's made it really hard to get lined out for this one. So I apologize. Thanks to everybody who's tuning in. We're down to about 25 more minutes. Did still have a few more things I wanted to go over. But as a reminder, you can check out Finding Common Ground tomorrow with me as well as my buddy Dave. Also available on K98 Talk. Now, that one still, because it comes from a different service, I have to do a lot of work behind the scenes to get it over to the site, so you can still check it out live through the Blog Talk link that I will be sending out via the Twitter accounts in the morning. But you can also hit it on demand. Sometime later tomorrow afternoon, I'll actually have the last few episodes up and done, because I've fallen behind because of the hectic work schedule again. And then Wednesday, we have the Family Factor, hosted by Denny C. That one runs 9 to 11, also currently on the Blog Talk channel. Thursday on the Fringes is still being done by my buddy Dave. That will not, of course, be picked up by the K98 Talk station because it's not talk, but it is a great show where he basically spins alternative music, alt country, indie, those kind of things. So check it out anytime. And then, of course, Friday, Red Shirt Friday from 8 to 10 with the Finding Common Ground crew. And then Saturday we have Comic Talk and Around the Ring, hosted by Steve and Dave. And then Sunday we have the Outer Limits. He did make his triumphant return to radio last evening. I actually will be working on getting that show edited and put up on the site probably tomorrow after the Finding Common Ground show. So for anyone who hasn't checked it out yet, you'll be able to find it there. But yeah, I think I've prattled on enough for a few minutes, so one moment while I change gears again. I hadn't pulled this one up yet. I have to admit the title of this one kind of scared me a little bit. So, yeah, this one's from the Drudge Report, and it's linked to an article through the Gateway Pundit. And basically, it's just a little bit of a snippet, but it says, "Now we know, Obamacare architect Ezek Emanuel, individual insurance market is going away." The Obamacare architect Ezek Emanuel, a former advisor to the Obama White House, admitted today that if Democrats have their way, the individual insurance market is going away. Well, no crap. For anybody who's been paying attention, we've known that for quite some time. They don't want insurance. If they get their way, you won't need insurance because the government's going to be responsible for taking care of you from the moment you're born till the second you die. And for all of you who think this is a good idea, I remind you we currently have things like the First and the Second Amendment. When they start being able to regulate your health care, do you really think you're going to have those kind of freedoms any longer? Simple question. Not a hard answer. Just saying. Sorry, it's not a hard question. Do you really, in your heart, if you stop and think about it, if you think we get to the point where we have our government who basically can determine what kind of health care we receive, when we receive it, how we receive it, do you honestly think that you're going to be able to speak your mind whenever you want? Looking at all the other stories that we've talked about over the last few minutes that are showing the decline of human nature in our society, as in the world as a whole, do you honestly think that if the government gets control of your health care, that you're going to be able to make the decisions that you want to make? That folks like me, who are on the air daily railing against the government, are going to be able to go in and get things taken care of if things happen that we need? I know for a fact I won't. Is that going to stop me? Nope. Not gonna happen. I don't care if I never see a dime from any of this stuff. I'm not doing it for the money. I'm doing it because somebody's got to. All you folks that are going about your daily lives, trying to take care of your families, raise your kids, take care of your day-to-day stuff, and you're not taking your head out of the sand long enough to realize what's going on, you're about to lose everything you hold dear, and you don't even know it. Look at what's happened in Britain. They don't have First Amendment rights there. They never did. But now they truly don't, because the government's running their lives. I mean, once we give them control of cradle-to-grave healthcare, they have us, folks. I'm sorry, I would rather go live in a cardboard box and have to stand on the side of the road with a "will work for food" sign and have to scrape by daily, doing whatever I could to make sure to eke out some sort of a meager existence, than to have to go put my hand out to the government every flippin' day to take care of me. I would rather be a bum on the street than to be dependent on the government. I'm not wired that way. I don't like being dependent on anybody. It drives me crazy, but I will damn sure not be dependent on the United States government for my health and well-being. It's not going to happen. Do you hear that, Mr. President? No, of course you don't, because I'm still a tiny little fish in a ginormous pond, but you know what? Somebody's going to get the point across to you. I'm not sure who it's going to be, and I'm not sure how. But all I know is, if and when you hear this, even if it doesn't come from me, I will not bow, I will not submit, and you will not take control of my life. It is not going to happen. My life is my life. It was given to me by God the Creator. You cannot have it. You cannot control it. You will not control it. You have your own life to lead, sir. Quit trying to tell everybody else what they need to do with theirs. I am so sick of the liberal agenda. All of you guys who are the progressives think that you know better what we need than we do, and you treat us like we're a bunch of damn children. We are not your children. You are not our parents. You are supposed to work for us, not the other way around, and this is crap. The stuff that you guys have pulled over the last 5 years is crap. You have lied to the American people time and time and time and time again, and nobody cares. They're all still asleep. Obamacare was a lie. The Benghazi incident was a lie. You saving Detroit was a lie. Cash for Clunkers being a success was a lie. Those are just the first 4 that I can think of off the top of my head, but if you go back and look, there are many, many more. There are stories breaking every minute about how this guy has lied to you over and over and over again, and there are still, I have people on my friends list who still support this guy. I mean, when are we going to wake up? When are we going to wake up? What has to happen, folks, for you to realize that the government is not looking after you? They don't have your best interest at heart. I don't care which party it is. They do not have your best interest at heart. They want power. They want control. They want you to submit. That's what they want. That's what they need. This country's been a thorn in everybody's side who wanted things like big government and more control from its inception. We were the rebels. We were the ones who said, screw you, we don't have to listen to you. You're a freaking ocean away from us telling us what we need to do, how we need to think, and what we... And now you want to try to take our guns away from us too? No. Screw you. So we founded the first ever government of the people, by the people, and for the people. And now we're watching it slowly be dismantled. Slowly torn apart, slowly taken away. Nobody's doing anything about it. Nobody's doing anything about it. The saddest statement I think I've said in the months that I've been doing these shows. Our country is slowly dying, and nobody's doing anything about it because they don't care. Their power is still on. Their cable works. They have food in the fridge. Their bills are getting paid, so they don't care. It doesn't matter that every freedom you hold dear is slowly and systematically being removed from you. It doesn't matter that at some point you're going to wake up and suddenly the job that you worked 20 years to get into isn't going to be your job anymore, because suddenly the government's going to say, well, we're glad you had this job for as long as you did, but now that we're running everything, we really need people over here in this plant over here taking care of this, and we've decided that's going to be the best place for you. Oh, and yeah, this nice 2,000 square foot home you've got, yeah, we're selling that, and we're taking the money, and we're going to put you in this nice little house over here. It's going to look like just like everybody else's house. You'll have a nice 1,000 square foot, 3-bedroom, 1-bath, gray walls, box house, You know, I mean, it just makes everybody feel more comfortable. Because everything will be the same. And nobody's going to have to look at your house and go, gee, I wish I had that kind of money. Because, yeah, we don't want people to feel like they're less important than you are. And we don't want people to feel like they have menial jobs. So we're not gonna let you worry about any of that anymore. We've already got control of your health care, so we're going to keep taking care of that for you. But now we're going to take the rest of the stress off of you, because we're going to tell you where you can work, what you can drive, where you can live, and what you can wear. You're not going to have to worry about anything anymore, Mr. Smith. We're from the government, and we're here to help. And we're going to make your life easier. Maybe not today, folks. Maybe not tomorrow. Maybe not 2 years. Maybe not 5 years. Maybe not even 50 years. But that's where we're headed. And no one cares. No one cares. Again, why do they not care? They have 300 channels on TV. They have internet. Not faulting the internet, trust me. The internet's now part of how I make my living. But they have their electric bill. You know, their lights are on. They have food in the fridge. Their water works. We've become a nation of convenience. Plain and simple, first and foremost, we have become a nation of convenience. And it saddens me. Yeah, sorry, Jessica, just got your message. Yeah, whenever you pause it, I think it basically just kind of picks up wherever I am in the stream, because it's actually streaming live right now. So pause doesn't really work for that, but you can always go back and check it out once I close it out as a podcast. So just keep listening, and thanks for checking it out. Sorry about that. But anyway, sorry. I actually was getting live feedback. That's kind of cool. But thanks for checking it out, Jessica. And like I said, it'll be available as a podcast later, so you can always catch the whole thing. But anyway, we are coming down to about the end of the show. And actually, I think I've about ranted to death today, to be honest. I don't know, folks. Disheartened, disillusioned, not sure what's going to happen next. All I know is the same thing I've been saying all show.
Water's wet, the sky's blue, women have secrets.
And if something doesn't change, we're all going to be screwed. It really is that simple. Nobody cares anymore. Anyway, so again, you can catch us again tomorrow over on the BTR channel over at Finding Common Ground with my buddy Dave. That is a show where me, the cranky conservative, and him as a Jeffersonian liberal, not one of the crazy progressive ones, try to talk about news and events of the day, set aside some differences, and see if we can find common ground. Not always does it work. However, the fun is usually in the attempt, because one of us will finally have enough and decide to start pushing the other's buttons just for the fun of it, just to see if we can make them explode on the air. Always entertaining. Alright, and then we may have a guest tomorrow. I'll introduce him tomorrow if he actually calls in, and we will go from there. But at this point, gonna go ahead and play my sponsor spot one more time. Promise eventually I will get around to recording a better one of these. Again, as a reminder, I was recording this at 5 o'clock in the morning one time, just started the program, so I do sound like Ben Stein on some sort of sleeping medication, but I'm going to torment it with you anyway.
We were made to be courageous. We were made to lead the way. We could be the generation that finally breaks the chains. We will
Giving the Obama administration the big ones up, right from the middle finger. Common Ground Radio with Double R.
Hey folks, I don't know about you, but I always feel like there just isn't enough time in the day. One of those not enough hours in the day kind of things. But, working full time, raising a family, trying to start a company, I'm sure some of you can relate. So, what can we do about it, I guess is my question. Short of hijacking Doc Brown and having him show you the secrets to the DeLorean, what if I told you there was a way where we could get you more energy for the hours that you had in your day instead of worrying about finding more time in your day? Anyway, I found the information through my independent Beachbody life coach, Miss Sherry Britt. You can find her information online at www.beachbody.com/SherryBritt1. Basically, I have to tell you, folks, I haven't been doing it for very long, but it's working. It's one of those total commitment kind of things. I'm using a program called Shakeology. Basically, it's a meal replacement. Think Slim Fast, but better. And also, I have one of Sean T's workout videos. We're doing T25 right now. Started that a couple of days ago. Have to admit, I'm old, I'm fat, and it's painful, but I feel better. And it's one of those things where I'm doing it at my own pace. There's also nutrition plans involved in a lot of these packages if you go for the whole thing. So it's what they like to call a challenge pack. I call it a bundle offer. Basically, it gets you the Shakeology video of your choice and a diet and exercise plan all rolled into one. Basically, it's just one of those things where what have you got to lose? You might as well try it. We all complain that there's not enough time in the day. What if there just isn't enough energy for us in the day anymore? You remember when we were kids? A day felt like a week because we were always doing something. Just my thoughts on it, folks. Give it a shot. Like I said, you can find the information at the link I just gave you a minute ago. What have you got to lose?
If you don't believe in God we trust, then strap your bomb to yourself and ride your camel out of here. You're listening to America Off the Rails with Double R, right here on Common Ground Radio.
Welcome to your life. There's no turning back. Even while we sleep, we will find you acting on your best behavior. Turn your back.
You're listening to America Off the Rails with Double R, right here on the all-new K98 Talk.
Alright, folks, and we're back. We're down to about 5 more minutes. Just going to hang out with you for a few. Have been looking over a few things that I think I'll probably touch on a little more on next week's show. One of the ones that I thought was interesting, that for some reason is not pulling up for me now, go figure, is apparently Chris Christie feels that he's about to win in a landslide, and he wants every single American to know why, or every single Republican in America to understand why. So let me see if I can get that to pull up real quick. Other than that, I would like to, again, thank everybody for tuning in. Now, again, here in the not-too-distant future, once we get a few things ironed out, this will probably start becoming a 5-day-a-week show. And, of course, Finding Common Ground will be that way as well. And then, of course, you'll be able to check out the Family Factor. Basically, it'll start being a schedule running from 6 to 8 for the Family Factor, Finding Common Ground from 8 to 10, this one from 10 to noon, Monday through Friday. But that will be still a few weeks away, still doing everything in the planning stages here. So Governor Chris Christie, a Republican in New Jersey, speaks to a campaign rally in Toms River, New Jersey on November 2nd, 2013. Mitt Romney's infamous 47% remark were a disparaging message to the Republican Party. Only a bare majority of Americans are interested in anything other than a government handout. Republicans can forget about landslides. Their best hope is to line up nearly all of the non-taker voters to win by a slim majority. As Governor Chris Christie prepares to romp to a landslide re-election in New Jersey on Tuesday, he has a message for Republicans everywhere. There's no need to limit yourself to 53% if you stop despairing and follow my lead. On Sunday evening, here's what Christie told Morris County voters at a rally held by the New Jersey Outdoor Alliance. We need to show the Republican Party in America that we can win again. And guess where they're going to be watching on Tuesday night to see if we win? Right here in New Jersey. Christie was too polite to say this, but Republicans will actually be watching two states on Tuesday. New Jersey, where Christie will win in a landslide, and Virginia, where Republican nominee Ken Cuccinelli will lose badly. Unlike Christie, Cuccinelli is a favorite of conservatives who love ideological purity and hate compromise. You could hardly come up with a better test case for Christie's compromise or die message. Compromise or die. Yeah, we're definitely going to have to talk about that on next week's show. Actually, I think I just came up with the title of next week's show. So, but yeah, at this point, we are coming to a close, folks. Again, this is Double R, and I have greatly enjoyed having you guys listen in for the last hour and a half. Sadly, I have to go pretend to be a responsible adult for a few hours and go to the day job soon. So, anyway, we will be back on the air with you tomorrow, Finding Common Ground, and again on Friday, and then I will be back Monday. Until then, for all of you who are despairing and freaking out because it is your Monday, I am sorry. I promise it will be your Friday again soon enough. I know this because on Friday when all of you were doing the happy dance, I was like, shut up, it's Tuesday. So again, I am Double R. This is America Off the Rails, and you have been listening to
Water's wet, the sky's blue.
And If Something Doesn't Change, We're All Screwed. Yeah, that was kind of the title of the show today. So again, it has been my pleasure. You guys enjoy the rest of your day. We will be back next week right here on America Off the Rails. Gonna take you out with that little bit of Kid Rock again, because it's kind of a couple of new anthem.
I don't want no one to cry, but tell them if I don't survive, I was born free. I was born free. I was born.
You are now tuned into the Bush Leagues of Talk Radio, right here on the all-new K98 Talk.
We were made to be courageous. We were made to lead the way. We could be the generation that finally breaks the chains. We will.
Giving the Obama administration the big ones up, right from the middle finger. Common Ground Radio with Double R.
Hey folks, I don't know about you, but I always feel like there just isn't enough time in the day. You know, one of those not enough hours in the day kind of things. But, you know, working full-time, raising a family, trying to start a company, I'm sure some of you can relate. So, what can we do about it, I guess is my question. Short of hijacking Doc Brown and having him show you the secrets to the DeLorean, what if I told you there was a way where we could get you more energy for the hours that you had in your day, instead of worrying about finding more time in your day? Anyway, I found the information through my independent Beachbody life coach, Miss Sherry Britt. You can find her information online at www.beachbody.com/SherryBritt1. Basically, I have to tell you, folks, I haven't been doing it for very long, but it's working. It's one of those total commitment kind of things. I'm using a program called Shakeology. Basically, it's a meal replacement. Think Slim Fast, but better. And also, I have one of Sean T's workout videos. We're doing T25 right now. Started that a couple of days ago. Have to admit, I'm old, I'm fat, and it's painful, but I feel better. And it's one of those things where I'm doing it at my own pace. There's also nutrition plans involved in a lot of these packages if you go for the whole thing. So it's what they like to call a challenge pack. I call it a bundle offer. Basically, it gets you the Shakeology video of your choice and a diet and exercise plan all rolled into one. Basically, it's just one of those things where, what have you got to lose? You might as well try it. We all complain that there's not enough time in the day. What if there just isn't enough energy for us in the day anymore? You remember when we were kids? A day felt like a week. because we were always doing something. Just my thoughts on it, folks. Give it a shot. Like I said, you can find the information at the link I just gave you a minute ago. What have you got to lose?
If you don't believe in God we trust, then strap your bomb to yourself and ride your camel out of here. You're listening to America Off the Rails with Double R, right here on Common Ground Radio.
Again, folks, that's going to do it for today's show. Thanks again for tuning in, checking out America Off the Rails. We'll be back Monday, and you can always catch me live tomorrow on Finding Common Ground. Have a great rest of your day.
Screw you guys. I'm going home. Later.
Game over, man. It's game over.